Okay, the video today is about this ThinkDiag, which is a vehicle scanner that plugs into your OBD2 port in your vehicle. On the advertising, what it says, it does a lot of functions of the larger scanners, and at a fraction of the cost, I suppose that's what they're trying to say. All you actually purchase is this item here, which plugs into your port, and then you bring along your own device, be it a tablet or a phone. It can be Android or Apple. You download the software from their site, from the MyThink store, and you just select whatever vehicle you want. So the item, depending on where you are, so in Australia this cost me just over $200 delivered. Bought it from Amazon in US, came from China direct. That was actually good service, really quick. As I say, the actual application on your device is free, and then you just pay for whatever the vehicle model that you want, or whatever maintenance function that you want. So in today's video, I suppose, or review, I'm only going to be testing this on this Nissan Patrol. It's a 2012 common rail diesel, and I'll just be commenting on this vehicle in this video. I've only got two vehicles in my household. The other one's a Mazda 3. I've also did purchase the software for that, and it works very well on the Mazda 3, very well supported, and a lot of functions. But we'll do the Nissan Patrol, since I do mainly Nissan Patrol. Probably one comment is, like any scanner, it's a scanner. It's a scanner with some bi-directional functions. It's got tests. It'll show you more things than just I've got an ultra gauge. It'll show you more what an ultra gauge or a scan gauge can show you, as far as just reading some parameters. It can do a little bit more. It's not going to fix your car. Like having an instruction manual. You've still got to be able to fix your car if you want to buy it. But if you just want to look at certain functions as well, without having the ability to fix your car, then it's up to you whether you want to buy it. So that's the question at the end, is, do you want to buy one? And that's your problem, not mine, because I've already bought mine. So also, if anyone wishes to ask any comments about it, just put comments in, and if they've got a specific question, then I'll show it to them then. So, as I said, an advantage of this is, it depends where you buy it from, what price you can get it for. It's a relatively cheap item. As I say, you're just purchasing that item. Their marketing says is compared to bigger scanners, it does all the same functions. If you look at the software once it's running and you compare it to a launch, it is very similar to launch. The reality is it's probably made by launch. Someone has pulled earlier versions of these to bits, and they've got launch boards in them. The software looks the same as launch. I can't find anything on the internet to say it is launch, but that's the way it does come across. I was looking at buying a Autel MS906BT scanner, which is $2,000 roughly in Australia, and then nearly another $1,000 a year to get the vehicle makes, but you've got to buy every vehicle make. And as I say, I only need two vehicle makes, so I just buy what I need. Just in relation to the app itself, I'll make some comments in it. When you see this this device advertised on eBay, Amazon, or any place, it'll talk about is a couple of functions it's got. It covers up to 115 different vehicle makes. It says more vehicle makes will be coming. Or more models in vehicles. It also talks about it's got 15 service maintenance functions. If you read Thinkcar, some of their finer writings, they'll say some features in some cars aren't supported. They do say that that'll be fixed over time. I'm sure with more modern popular cars it will. Some of the older cars they might not worry about too much. Just one thing in relation to the 15 maintenance software, when you look at those functions, and again, if you're just looking at it on a seller's site, it looks great that you're going to get all this stuff for free, but you don't. You know, if you wanted to get reset ABS, it's another $50, and that gives you all vehicles. The only thing, when you go in and look at what vehicles it covers, or the models it covers, and you start reading again in the dates, the latest car I found in here is up to 2018. So most 2015, some 2008 models for cars. So if we look at GM for instance, it says 2000 to 2008. So that's up for you if you want to buy it for these service functions and then you find it doesn't have it. You need to check with the manufacturer or Thinkcar or the seller if you want one of these service functions. I believe though some of these service functions are also in the actual vehicle software, and it'll do some of those functions for you. So in those service functions you get reset bleed, reset brakes. I think it's for the electric brakes. I think Volkswagen's got them, EGRs, injectors, immobilizers, reset the oil, reset steering angle sensors. Now if I wanted to buy this one, it's $50, but I can actually reset the steering angle sensor in the vehicle software. So just double check that. The other thing in advertiser sites, most of them say is you get 2 free software. Now I could only actually download one. I contacted the seller on Amazon. He said no, you only get one. But there was some very confusing writing where he was saying you get one or the other, being either a maintenance or a diagnostic software package. If you go to my Thinkcar, it says you get 2 free diagnostic software. I'm a bit skeptical. Anyway, I just got the one. I'll live with it. I'm not going to make a hoo-ha of it. Under your vehicle makes, it'll have all the vehicle makes. I think you can check this on the site and it'll tell you what you can do on it. Obviously what I've purchased so far is the Nissan, and I've also purchased the Mazda. So the Nissan came free with it. The Mazda I paid, what did I pay for that? $32, because I had some points, so I got it for $32. Okay, so again, as I say, what we're going to talk about what this does in a Nissan Patrol. So if you've got a Nissan Patrol and you either like looking at the systems in your car, or you want it to fix your car, and remember it's just a tool, it won't fix your car, it'll just tell you where you've got problems. You need to be able to fix your car yourself. And we'll show you what it's got. So the first step is we'll plug it into the OBD2, and then I'll show you a part that doesn't work, or does work. So if I haven't mentioned it yet, my Thinkcar does put a disclaimer, not everything is covered in everything. So don't get too panicky about it. You got in your download, you get this auto search, you get a demo, which is useless. Just go to the internet or Google or YouTube and watch stuff. You get EOBD and OBD2. That's for emissions testings, and that'll do a full system scan. That's free. That'll work even if you didn't download anything. That'll give you all the same functions like your scan gauges, ultra gauges and all that. And then you have whichever package you purchase, will also show. So in the auto search, again, if you watch other people's videos, especially in America, which cars are well supported, they'll hit the button and you'll see this little screen come up and it'll dial through. So it's connected now with the Bluetooth in the car. Well, it hasn't connected actually. I'll turn it on. So it's now connected and it's pretending it's doing a search, which is a mode 9 in OBD2 to check vehicle information. And you'll see shortly it comes up with a message. You can't find the VIN number. So don't panic about it really. If it's found it and it tells you what model it is and the VIN number and all it does is speed up the rest of the processes, because then when it's doing a system scan for what modules it got, it just brings up whatever modules it knows it has. So what we can then do is we can go 2 ways. So in our Nissan part of the application, we click the diagnostic software, and the screen will come up in a sec. And hopefully all this phone screen works. Now the auto search is just what we've just done, is the auto VIN. We know that doesn't work. We can do a manual search, or we can do a full system diagnostic. A full system diagnostic just goes in and just reads the pins directly. So in this case we've got a 16 pin OBD2, and it'll go through reading those pins and it'll do a full scan. And when we start running, if we were to run that and we do a system scan, it'll bring up every module that Nissan has said could be in a vehicle, and as it's scanning through, it'll look through and it'll tell you what modules you've got. So at the moment it's saying it's found an ECM, the ABS it's scanning for, and hopefully it'll say it doesn't have one, but it does have one, but I'll come back to that. So ABS not equipped, and it'll just keep going through that. We'll get out of that screen for a second because we don't need it. And the same thing in this mode here, the 16 pin mode, or the full diagnostic. If we ran a health report, it actually takes a long time because it runs very slow because it's just searching all the modules, but that'll give you your DTC codes. If you try to run the 14 pin in the Nissan Patrol, it won't work because it's a 16 pin vehicle, so just say it doesn't work. So what we're going to do is, the auto search doesn't work, we're not going to do the 16 pin, it's too slow, so we go to the manual selection. We pick obviously which region we're in, so we're in Australia. We go pick our vehicles. So in there we've got Patrol AT, I suppose automatic, MT manual, and a Patrol Y61. Further down I think there might be Safari, but here it's the Patrol Y61. We select that. It's got the last build date in here is as of 2015. I can't remember if 2015 or 2016 might have been the last build date, but this is the 2012, but if I try to run 14, 13, 12, 11, everything sort of works okay. I run 15 and it keeps missing a module, so I'll put in 2012. Now if I run health report to start with, this will give me go through all the modules again, and it'll tell me if there's any fault codes in there. So earlier it did have a fault code in there which I've cleared in relation to a turbocharger sensor, but it wasn't a real fault in my car. So as you see, it goes through, scans all the modules. It's now done this. It says I've only got 3 modules. It says I've got an ECM, and I can't see if it shows you, a BCM and an SRS, and it doesn't show ABS. Okay. And the same thing, if I went through the system scan, which goes and shows you what modules you got without the DTCs, it'll tell me basically the same thing. It'll say it'll keep missing the ABS. So I'll show you the trick on how to get the ABS to work on the Nissan Patrol on this tool. Same thing, just show me the 3 modules. Okay, so what we do is we can do it 2 ways. Sometimes when the vehicle's actually running and we hit the system scan, and I think if we run it early enough while the ABS is actually working, it might pick it up, which it has this time. So this time again we've picked up the ECM, the ABS now, the body control module and the SRS. And if we turn the key off now, it'll keep all those in there. So it must have to have for the Nissan Patrol, it must have to have the ABS in the test mode when the vehicle starts. If you run the system scan too slow and it doesn't pick it up, just turn the engine off, and then just turn the key back on till your dash lights come on, and then run the system scan and it'll pick it up then. I'll turn the car off just for the noise sake. Okay, now if you've got these Nissan Patrols, they're stuck halfway between old age and new age, and that's all. This is the manual model. That's all the modules it actually does have. Although it's got like central door locking systems, it's got air conditioning and all that, that's still running just off relays and switches and that. I know some stuff goes through the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster in this vehicle doesn't actually have a module, although some instrument clusters do have a module. If you play around with the other settings and it says non-Y61, you'll see a large range of features, obviously, which other vehicles must have had. But I don't know if it's in the TI model, but here we don't have it in this model here. So I don't get too worried about, you bought this item and it doesn't work. It does, it just shows you what you've got. So if we've done the health report now on all 4 modules, it should scan the ABS this time. And it's made a liar of me, it's dropped all the modules. Oh, I've got the key off. Okay, so now we've got all the 4 modules running. I'll now run a health report again, which is going to give me the report if there's any DTC code. So now it'll actually search the ABS, so it's actually says it's found 1 code. Oh, and the BCM it says it's found 1 code. They can't be real because I didn't have any codes there before, but we'll have a look to see what it tells us. So the ABS is so the ABS has given us a U1000 code. That's because I actually had the key off when I tried running the report a second ago. So it's a CAN communication circuit. I know it's not a fault code, I tried running it without the code, so I'll clear that fault code. And I'll just go back into the BCM, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be another CAN. Yep, and it's another CAN communication. Again, it's because I have the key off, so I'll just clear that code itself. Okay, so all our fault codes, which are actually my fault, not the car's fault, are now cleared. So now what you got is you got your system selection. So we can go and look at here. Now this is, again, it brings up every module that Nissan ever says could have been and should have been or might have been. Obviously what we know, we've got an ECM, we've got an ABS. So if you try to bring up something that you don't have, so like this car has got cruise control, but if we try to bring up cruise control, it'll come with a warning message saying you don't have it. So don't get too worried about it. If we went into a function like ABS, it'll go through, it'll start communicating with the ABS module, and if you wanted to read the data stream, you can either select from the menu or you can look at what the ECU sees, and it will start giving you things like what the ABS needs, like the accelerator position, obviously engine, wheel sensor speeds, wheel sensors themselves in speed. It'll give you G sensor, steering angle, and on page 2 it'll give us the yaw rate. So on the Nissan Patrols, especially when people lift them, they get a lot of problems with lifting a certain height. This vehicle has never had problems with losing power with when turning around corners, but a lot of the vehicles, 2.5 inches, they're always dropping power. Now they'll have something to do with either the G, the yaw, or the steering angle sensor potentially. The only one you can reset in this is the steering angle, and if the vehicle's been lifted, it will throw the steering angle out, so you can reset it. If we wanted to look at, again in the ABS mode, if we wanted an actuation test, if I wanted to run the solenoid test, so if I click here, I'm just clicking the front right hand ABS solenoid actuator, and if it's in the up mode at the moment, the solenoids are off. If I run it, and you'll hear it run. Okay. Again, probably more so for four-wheel drives, a lot of things that throw the vehicles out are wheel speed sensors in the bush and your steering angle sensor going out. So at least you can start testing functions, and you can test the wheel speeds to make sure that's working, that's not throwing stuff out. If we were to go into the engine model, sorry, the ECM, So in the ECM we'll read all the data streams that it's got. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but you know, accelerator position, accelerator sensor. Another thing that might be if you've got you're losing power is your brakes. You've got two brake switches. You know, you can go look at your buttons for your cruise control, they're on or off. EGVR angles, glow relays, you can turn those on and off for the relays if you want to test them. You know, you can do your oil pressure switches, swirls, you can do that. So if we select it at the moment, we select accelerator position, it'll show you the voltage, or you can go to the graph mode. So I'm pushing the pedal, you'll see that it'll go off. If I push the brakes on, you'll see the brake comes on and off. So they're all just aids, just tools to help teach you. If I wanted to go into, I'm not going to push program of computers. It does say here you can do injector calibration data. I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to touch my injectors. So like in these, if you're ever going to do them, they're coded with different things. You've got an EGR value learning clear, so start again. You've got a throttle position learning, VIN registration, which I'm not going to touch, injector learning and mixture ratio. So I don't know if that actually works on diesel, but it's there. Then just go back into the body control. Oh, sorry, go back into the ABS. So in the ABS model, we've got in there a special function, which is our steering angle sensor adjustment. It'll tell you what you need to do as far as you pointing your wheels and all that. Okay, and now I've got to get my bloody wheels straight, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. I'll just hit OK and then I'll fix it up later. It'll go through, it'll probably flash the screen and it tells you that your adjustment's completed. Mine's all out of whack now, so I've got to go reset it. So I'm not going to go through every piece of data it gives you, but it's pretty good. As I say, I was got a little bit annoyed. It only was showing me 4 modules. As I say, I think there's only 6 modules altogether in the Nissan Patrol Y61, which you can read in the service bulletins. In the Mazdas, as I say, it was great. It was showing me everything. I could activate door locks, you know, if I wanted to test those, I could activate nearly everything, turn lights on, lights off. You could do a great deal of functions in it. It was actually a really good tool, so it was worth the money for that. For the Patrol, again the question, is it something that you need, or is it something you want to buy, or is it something that you've been looking at? Is it worth buying? That's your problem. Would I recommend it? Yes. In relation to, I'll put an invitation code in my YouTube in the comments that if you buy from Thinkcar Direct, it gives you, I think it gives you a discount. I'll double check that, but I'll write that in the description, or there may be an Amazon link, but I'm not trying to sell them. I don't make any money from it, so that's up to you what you want to do. If you've got any questions about it, or you want to see any actual feature from the ThinkDiag on the Nissan Patrol itself, just put a comment in the description. And that's about it. Okay, see you later. Go fix my steering angle again. Okay, so just a bit of extra footage before I reset my steering angle. When I did in the video before, my obviously the car's not running, I've no power steering. The steering angle was way off. Way off. It was. I've just brought up the reading there, so it says minus 11 degrees. So it was 11 degrees to the right, I believe it was. So now I'll just do a reset. So I'll straighten up the wheels as best I can without driving. So now I'll pretend that I'm going to do a proper special function, so a wheel reset. So I'll go into there, click OK, click OK. It means I've got my steering wheel straight now, and it's now told me that the adjustment is complete. So if I go read data stream and go up to steering angle signal, oh sorry. Okay, so you now see it's now set at 0 degrees. So those maintenance functions, as I say, you don't need the maintenance functions for certain functions that are already inbuilt into the vehicle. Okay, that's about it. See you later.